I found a pink one. And a purple one. I found a red one. There's a blue one over here. Wow, so many eggs. This is the best hunt ever. Look at my full basket.
Welcome to Annie's Diamond Stories, where we share meaningful, practical, and life-touching stories that open our eyes to deeper truths hidden in everyday life. To everyone joining today, thank you for being here. Today's story may sound simple at first, but as it unfolds, you will begin to see that it carries history, mystery, and a message that many people have forgotten. It had been one of those mornings that felt different even before anything began. The sun had just risen, casting a soft golden light across the garden, and the air carried that gentle freshness that only comes with the arrival of spring. The grass still held droplets of dew, and the flowers, just beginning to bloom, seemed to welcome a new season. On that morning, a group of children stepped outside with quiet excitement. They held their baskets tightly, their eyes scanning the ground as though they were searching for something they could not yet fully explain. There was anticipation in their hearts, but also curiosity. They had been told something special would happen, but no one had explained it in full. For a few moments, everything remained still. Then suddenly, one of the children shouted with excitement. An egg had been found. That single moment changed everything. What had begun in silence quickly turned into laughter, running footsteps, and joyful discovery. Children moved from one corner of the garden to another, searching behind bushes, under trees, and along pathways. One egg became two became five, and soon baskets began to fill. Yet, as joyful as that moment had been, none of them knew that what they were doing had started long before they were born. They did not know that they were part of a story that had traveled across centuries and continents, carrying with it a meaning far deeper than the excitement they felt. Long before there were Easter egg hunts, long before children ran across gardens in search of hidden treasures, the egg had already held a powerful meaning in the hearts of people. In ancient times, people observed the world around them very closely. They noticed how winter brought stillness, silence, and what seemed like the end of life. Trees stood bare, the ground hardened, and everything appeared lifeless. But then, slowly, spring would arrive, and with it came a transformation that felt almost miraculous. Plants began to grow again. Animals emerged from hiding. The earth, which had seemed quiet and empty, suddenly became full of life once more. Among all these signs of renewal, one stood out in a unique way. The egg appeared simple on the outside, yet inside it carried life waiting to emerge. At the right moment, that life would break through, and something new would begin. To many ancient cultures, this was not just a natural occurrence, it was a symbol of hope, a reminder that life could come after stillness and that new beginnings were always possible, even after what seemed like an ending. As Christianity spread across different parts of Europe, the meaning of the egg began to change. It was no longer just a symbol of nature or the changing seasons. It became a powerful representation of something even greater. Believers began to see the egg as a symbol of the tomb. It was closed, silent, and seemingly final. But just as a chick could break out of the shell and come into life, Jesus had risen from the tomb, bringing life where there had once been death. This understanding transformed how eggs were viewed. During the season of Lent, many Christians fasted and avoided eating certain foods, including eggs. By the time Easter arrived, eggs were no longer ordinary. They became a sign of celebration, joy, and victory. Families gathered together to prepare them. They were boiled, decorated, and often painted in bright colors. In many traditions, eggs were dyed red to represent sacrifice and love. When they were shared among family members, it was not just an act of giving food, but a reminder of a deeper truth that connected them all.
I found a blue one. I got a green one.
Wonderful, keep looking.
At some point, something subtle but meaningful began to change. Families started placing eggs in different parts of their homes and gardens, not to hide them completely, but to create a moment of discovery. Children were encouraged to search for them, and in that process, something beautiful unfolded. The act of searching became just as meaningful as the finding itself. It required patience, attention, and persistence. Over time, what began as a simple activity slowly developed into something more structured. The idea of hiding eggs intentionally so that children could find them started to take shape, and with that, the first form of what we now know as the Easter egg hunt was born. In Germany, a story began to circulate that would eventually transform the tradition completely. It was the story of a rabbit, known as the Easter Bunny, that laid eggs and hid them for children to find. At first, the idea sounded unusual, almost unbelievable, but children embraced it with excitement. They were told that if they behaved well, the Easter Bunny would visit and leave eggs behind. This belief added a sense of mystery and wonder to the tradition. Children began preparing for the visit by making small nests or placing baskets in hopeful anticipation. When eggs appeared the next morning, the story grew stronger, and the tradition became more deeply rooted. When German immigrants traveled to other parts of the world, especially to the United States, they carried this story with them. What had once been a local tradition quickly spread and gained popularity in new lands.
Look, I found a red one! Wow! That's the best ever! Over there, a green one. I got a purple one! This is the best!
As the tradition spread, different countries began to adapt it in unique ways. In the United States, the Easter egg hunt became a widely celebrated event. Families organized hunts in their homes, while communities held larger gatherings in parks and open spaces. The tradition grew into something grand, bringing people together in celebration. In England, a slightly different activity became popular. Instead of searching for hidden eggs, people rolled eggs down hills, symbolizing the rolling away of the stone from the tomb. In France, the story took another form entirely. Instead of a bunny, people believed that church bells traveled to Rome and returned on Easter, bringing eggs with them. In Australia, the tradition was adapted to protect local wildlife. The Easter Bunny was replaced by the Easter bilby, a native animal, showing how traditions could evolve while still preserving their meaning. As years passed, the Easter egg hunt grew larger and more elaborate. Real eggs were gradually replaced with chocolate and decorated plastic eggs filled with sweets and small gifts. What had once been a quiet family activity became a lively celebration enjoyed by communities across the world. The excitement increased with each passing year. Children eagerly anticipated the hunt, and families found joy in creating memorable experiences together. The tradition became not only about finding eggs, but also about sharing moments of happiness and togetherness. Despite all the changes, one important truth remained. The Easter egg hunt was never just about the eggs. It was about the experience of searching, discovering, and finding something valuable. It reminded people that not everything meaningful is immediately visible. Some things require patience and effort to be found. It also reflected the deeper message of Easter, which is about hope, renewal, and the promise of new life. There was once a child who joined an Easter egg hunt filled with excitement. At the beginning, everything seemed joyful, but as time passed, other children began to find eggs quickly while this child found none. Discouragement began to set in, and the child slowly stepped back, feeling as though the effort was pointless. But just as the child was about to give up, something inside encouraged one more attempt. This time, the child searched more carefully, paying attention to places that others had overlooked. And there, hidden behind a small bush, was a beautifully decorated egg. In that moment, the child realized something important. Sometimes, the most valuable things are not found quickly. They are discovered by those who are willing to keep searching even when it seems difficult. The Easter egg hunt has traveled a long journey through history. It began as a simple symbol, grew into a meaningful tradition, and eventually became a global celebration. Yet, beneath all the colors and excitement, it continues to carry a powerful message. It reminds us that life can emerge from stillness, hope can rise again, and sometimes, the greatest treasures are found by those who do not give up. If this story has given you a new perspective, take a moment to reflect on what Easter truly means to you. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Ennie's Diamond Stories for more meaningful and inspiring content. Happy Easter! Ennie's Diamond Stories friends, families, and well-wishers.
Happy Easter, everyone!
Happy Easter! We're so happy to be together.
This is the best Easter ever.
It sure is. Come here for a hug.